7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes over. And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all is well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. And this is my thoughts on the New York Knicks so far. The New York Knicks are about a quarter into the 2022 to 23 NBA season, and we are currently 10 and 12. So if you're wondering where that is in the standings, we are currently the 10th seed. We would have that last seed when it comes to the NBA play-in, so we are barely in the play-in. And you could say Knicks fans had different types of expectations entering the season, that we are either going to be around 500, be in the play-in, or we end up being like this 5th or 6th seed because RJ Barrett pops off. And it's still very early on. Maybe RJ Barrett can pop off, but RJ Barrett has been extremely disappointing for someone that we just gave this amount of money to, and it's his 4th season in the league, and he's not looking like a future all-star as of right now. There's been a huge level of inconsistency, so RJ's been inconsistent. He's had some good games. He's had some very rough games. There's been some inconsistencies when it comes to certain parts of his game that were, like, in general, that I could talk about. But the Knicks have pretty much beaten teams that they're supposed to be, and then they're losing to teams that are better than us. But the New York Knicks flat out need to be better because, yes, you could say the Grizzlies are a better team than us. The Bucks are a better team than us. The Atlanta Hawks are a better team than us. But at the end of the day, we blew an over 20-point lead to the Atlanta Hawks. You got to find a way to win that game. The Grizzlies game, both of those were very competitive. You have to stop shooting yourself in the foot. If it's turnovers, shot selection from the free throw line, just being more decisive, better on the defense side of the basketball as well, defending the perimeter. The Milwaukee Bucks game, Giannis Antetokounmpo fouls out in a big-time moment, and you got to make your free throws. You got to have better shot selection. Can't leave Brook Lopez outside on the perimeter. You have to have better communication. So we could have more wins if we played more disciplined and better basketball. But I really did think this season wasn't, like, it's not fully about this player, but he clearly is the X factor. We took him with the 3rd overall pick back in the 2019 NBA draft. We wanted to see that leap from RJ Barrett, and we haven't had it. At the beginning of the season, you can kind of give him the excuse or just the fact he wasn't consistently getting touches within the offense, but he's gotten plenty of touches when it's come to these, yeah, you could say the first 5-6 games of the season barely getting any touches, but he is clearly getting touches, and even when we're getting out and running as well, he's getting touches as well. RJ Barrett just needs to be better. He just flat out needs to be better, because someone made up a really good point. We could talk about Tibbs' bland offensive scheme and all that. You know, there's not much movement within the offense. But at the end of the day, RJ Barrett needs to knock down open threes. He needs to be better consistently finishing at the basket. He's had games that he's really good finishing at the basket, then he has games he's extremely inconsistent finishing at the basket. He's getting better when it comes to the free throw line, and he's been playing some decent basketball as of late. He had a really rough game like a couple of games ago. It comes down to the consistency at the end of the day, but this team, in my opinion, when it comes to the upside, goes as far as RJ Barrett goes, because in my opinion, we know what Julius Randle is. Julius Randle's going to have very good nights, he's going to have bad nights, because he's going to have games that his basketball IQ is on point. He makes quick, rapid decisions, he feels the double team, he makes the right read out there on the basketball floor, and then there's going to be other nights that he's really slow to process, and there's going to be nights that he's just fuego from beyond the arc, then there's going to be nights that he can't consistently knock down shots at all. And people get into his head some nights as well. Sometimes he's going to have games that he brings it defensively. Then there's times that he blames it on a player when it's his assignment, and he just really struggles on defense when it comes to rotations or when it comes to communication. Like, this overall team has so much work to do. So Randle, we know what he is. We do know what he is. Jalen Brunson has been perfectly fine for us. Yes, you want to see him hit a big-time free throw in a big-time moment. You want to see him hit that floater that's pretty much been textbook, even though you could say it was a good shot contest by, I believe it was, I'm trying to think at the top of my head who it was. It was Brandon Clark, I believe, that had a very good shot contest on him. Couldn't get it to go. But he had a mid-range jumper, good look, was too strong off the back iron. Like, he's had his opportunity to hit big shots. Portland Trailblazers game as well. He needs to execute for sure. But Jalen Brunson's probably been our best player, in my opinion. Is he a Lonzo Ball pass first? He's going to make everyone rapidly around him better? No, but he's a good enough passer, and he's going to put enough pressure on the defense that he can make the right reads out there, pull up from mid-range territory. He's getting better shooting the ball from beyond the arc, and he did get hurt in that last game as well. Not giving him excuses, but he's been very efficient finishing at the rim, better than advertised on defense. Still not good. He's been okay, but he's been a freaking warrior out there, and I'm glad that Jalen Brunson really is a New York Knick. He's been our best player, but we need more than Jalen Brunson to be consistent on this team. We need RJ to be consistent. We need Randall to be consistent. That's the thing. There's no consistency when it comes to these players at the end of the day. Mitchell Robinson's playing better as of late. He's using his physicality. He's using his strength. He's doing a good job rotating over. Like Randall, there's moments there's no effort on defense, and Mitch kind of has to clean up two things on defense if it's the center and the power forward as well. So I don't think people really understand Mitchell Robinson's versatility on defense, and he's even getting stronger and playing more aggressive on offense. He's snagging those defensive rebounds, but the overall thing is inconsistency, lack of high upside. Because outside of RJ Barrett, who we're relying on for high upside of longevity, consistent winning, Grimes I like. I just think he's a very solid player. He's good when he's at his best, but I don't see him putting up a crazy amount of points. I don't. He doesn't have the consistent bag of like a step back or mid range. Like he has a solid, quick first step, and he does a good job using the rim and backboard for protection. And I do think he's more than a 3-and-D player. I'm not saying he's just a 3-and-D player. He gets after defensively, that type of thing, and he's a solid passer of the ball. He can shoot it from the outside. His numbers may not show it, but you see he's getting it going from beyond the arc. He does the dirty work. I really do love him, but we need more upside when it comes to youth department. I love Quickly, but I don't think he is the high upside for this team. Cam Reddish, I do think there'd be more upside there if we did utilize him better, of giving him more shots, but do I see a future star in Cam Reddish? No, I do not. Obi Toppin's a very interesting situation because Obi Toppin had some of the most talent in the world coming out of that draft class back in 2020, I believe, from Dayton, because you see the skill set. He's NBA ready right away. Randall has this amazing year, so he's in a very interesting situation, and you see the progress with Obi when it comes to his three-point shot. His percentage has dipped, but his minutes have dipped as well, so there's been an inconsistency of Tibbs when it comes to Obi Toppin as well. But I want to see what Obi Toppin does do in that starting role. There's just not high upside. The New York Knicks need high upside. They are a mediocre group at the end of the day. And I do wonder what these young guys would look like in a more modern day offense, if you know what I mean. Just the offense is very vanilla. But there's two things I want to talk about, or another thing I want to talk about. Leon Rose, does he understand the state of the New York Knicks? Has he accepted mediocrity, or has he been tricked by this team and just doesn't really have common sense? When we overachieved that year, when Randall was playing at an all-time high, I guess he really believed in Randall, and he believed in RJ for the upside, that he's like, we're going to bring in Fournier to be the starter here. Give him a good amount of money. You know what Fournier is coming over from Orlando. He's not a long-term piece. I really didn't understand that move at all. Now when I'm thinking about it, I liked it during the time, but I'm like, yeah, this Knicks team isn't that good. But now when you're really thinking about it, like, it's your job to make the right decisions. I'm a fan at the end of the day, but you must have really believed in Randall. You must have really believed in RJ, that you're like, yeah, let's bring in Fournier. Because you're signing a Fournier, doesn't even play anymore. And he's made some mistakes. Derrick Rose, he's trying to trade him now. Noel and Burks were supposed to be very tradable contracts. Now they are gone, but it took some time. He's made some mistakes. Taj isn't on the team anymore. I understand bringing this culture, bringing this youth movement, and bringing this culture, stability and all that. But at the end of the day, you really do need talent if you want to be a successful team in this league. And the New York Knicks don't have high-end talent. That is the true reality of it. But to give credit to Tom Thibodeau, I will say this. We could talk about his outdated offense. The defense is even bad. There's bad. We have no identity. The identity was first year, slow grinded out offense. We don't have the most talent in the world, but we're going to get after it defensively. But there's no defense. There's no three-point shooting. No one can hit the side of the ball when it comes to a three-point shot. There's no consistent ball movement. We really have no identity. We don't have a consistent pace. But I will say this. He hasn't been afraid to try new things. He's officially done with Fournier. Fournier doesn't even come off the bench. He gets no minutes at all. You started Grimes. You started Reddish. It looks like Grimes is the locked-up starter, which I do like. He brings little things such as hustling, which results in big things out there on the floor. He can shoot the basketball. He can pass. He can defend. Even though you could say he's undersized little for that shooting guard position because he is 6'4", I do like it. It's a guy that's actually going to be here moving forward, getting starters minutes. And Cam Reddish, he's actually playing him, but he got inconsistent minutes last night or the other night versus Milwaukee. We'll see what happens with that. And I'll give him credit as well when it comes to trying Obi and Randall together. Like, he has those lineups out there on the floor as well when it comes to Obi and Randall. Like, sometimes you're scared, is Obi coming out when he's playing good basketball, when it's like, no, they're coming in together. But there's just Achilles heels when it comes to Tom Thibodeau, that he's outdated when it comes to his offense. The honeymoon phase is over. He's going to come in, set the culture, but then the NBA adjusts to his offense, and it's just so predictable. So there's so many holes when it comes to Tom Thibodeau and what he needs to work on, making in-game adjustments. It seems like he's coaching off of a piece of paper. I'm going to put this guy in this situation. Tom Thibodeau, I don't think's the guy moving forward, because the New York Knicks need to build the youth movement, in my opinion. But RJ Barrett, I want to see what he can do with a modern-day offensive coach. That's someone that actually has actual sets, but he still needs to be better. We took this dude 3rd overall. Like, our standards they can't be set so low, especially because I am starting to accept that RJ could just be a very quality player in this league and not an all-star, but it's just like, we do need a star at some point. That's why I'm saying you got to go young. You trade Randall. You have to trade Randall. It's not because he's absolute trash, but he doesn't have the consistent style of play or the consistent IQ to keep it up every night. So you got to trade Randall. Fournier, get his contract off the books. He doesn't even play. Rose, you got to trade him. You got to rock with the youth movement and actually see what you have in these guys moving forward. And people are going to be like, we know what we have in Obi. As Obi consistently started games, we took this dude with the 8th overall pick. We thought Randall was going to be gone. There was all these trade rumors. Let's see what Obi actually is in an actual role. Being treated as a starter. Because your confidence changes. The play designs change, hopefully. Like, let's see what the young guys actually are. And it's not tanking. It's seeing what the actual guys that are going to be here moving forward, or maybe they don't. You get to see these players' true colors when they battle adversity as starters, when there's ups and downs. It's not tanking. But if you're going to lose with the young guys. If you're going to win with the young guys. If you're going to overachieve with the young guys. And let's say you don't win that many games. Well, draft right, scout right, and get a high upside young player, or draft a high upside young player, or someone in between that's NBA ready now, but has high upside. Utilize him right, and maybe he's a potential star. That's the only way the Knicks are getting another star, in my opinion. Brunson may be playing like a star, but you need more than that. Like, you really do. You need someone that, like, you have to have a timeline, you have to have an actual plan, you have to stop having these shortcuts. Like, Fournier, really? Like, you have to stop having these shortcuts and actually develop a homegrown star. You need more than RJ. You need more than Brunson. You need more than Mitch, even though I do like Mitch. But I do think he would be better in a different situation with, like, actual stars on the team, because their expectations would be kind of lower and he'll just be able to, like, I don't know, there won't be as much on his plate, if you know what I mean. But if you just look at the Knicks, they're just extremely mediocre. We have all this money invested in Brunson. We have all this money invested in Randall, RJ, Fournier. Rose, it's not as bad anymore. But it's just like, you're going to be mediocre. Your team's going to cap off at a certain level, or it's going to stop at a certain level if, like, you don't have much flexibility right now with this team when it comes to cap space. Like, you have to move on from these certain contracts. This team isn't going anywhere. It's accepting the truth that the New York Knicks need to move on. Leon deserves blame. Thibodeau deserves blame. Everyone deserves blame. RJ deserves blame. He needs to be better. Everyone needs to be better. Randall needs to be better. But the reality is right now that my standards are, my mindset with this team so far, a quarter through the Knicks season, is it's the hard truth, but changes need to be made. And everyone's going to say, I'm tired of rebuilding. Well, we're going to continue to so-called rebuild. I don't even call it rebuilding, because we're retooling still. We're going to keep on changing things up until we actually build it right for once. There's no identity. We have no upcoming young star right now on this roster. And it's frustrating. It is very frustrating. Let me know down below your thoughts. Peace out, y'all.